All right, I already made an initial false start cut at this video, and I'm very frustrated with myself because I was an idiot. I was just talking, I was going over stuff, and I forgot to switch to the view where you can actually see my screen. So anyway, it is the wee hours of Monday morning, and it is time to show up, and I'm showing up, and I'm glad you're showing up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And the first and most important thing to go over is I've clearly bitten off more than I can chew, because for the past month, I have struggled mightily to get the videos out on time and to do any kind of meaningful subject in them. So that's too much. I need to back off a little bit. So what I'm going to worry about is, number one, getting the videos out on time, and number two, keeping the videos on subject. Basically talking about graphics on Monday, and sound on Wednesday, and code on Friday. I'm not going to worry too much about doing a quote-unquote good video or having any kind of planned, bulleted list of what exactly I'm going to do. And we're just going to spend the next month, we're going to worry about getting everything out on schedule and having everything on topic. That's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be the whole thing that I'm doing. So anyway, I've been going over the sprites, and one of the things that that distresses and annoys me is I don't like the look of this character for the protagonist. And let me go ahead and share my screen so you can actually see this. So so I don't like this look for the protagonist. I don't think this is a good look. So if I come over here to the player, all right, and I come over here to the player and I go, okay, let's turn off the visibility of all of this stuff. And I just don't like the look of her. I really don't. So so what I'm thinking is I need to go in and I need to use I need to either use a better base model that looks more like the character I've got in my mind, or I need to paint over the existing sprite sheets. And I'm leaning toward painting over the existing sprite sheets. Okay, so if we start with like the witch hunter, what I'm thinking is that I'm not using that many. This is a lot. Okay, this is 600 frames of animation, and that's a shocking amount of stuff to think about. If I could do each of these in a minute, it would take 10 hours. Okay, but what if I only worried about the animations that I'm using? Because I'm only actually using 88 frames of animation. That is a doable level, okay? 88 frames of animation is, if you figure 3 to 5 minutes for each, then that comes out to about 6 hours per. That comes out to about 6 hours per sprite. And at 6 hours per sprite, then I've got. I mean, I've still got like 100 sprites, so it's still a huge amount of work. But this is a doable amount of work. This is a day of work. It is a day of work to do one of these sprites, and I don't need all 100 sprites like right out of the gate. I can do like 6 hours of work for this one protagonist, and then I can go through and I can do the other protagonists, and then I can start doing the enemy sets for one group at a time. Also, as I build up the collection, a lot of these sprites are going to be fairly small modifications to existing sprites. so I'll be able to do that rather quickly. Anyway, the thing is, I've got a bunch of sprites that are a very different size. For example, I like this guy in a trench coat here, and I'm thinking about using this guy in his little coat and fedora for one of the enemies in the game. The problem is that this is a 24 by 24 sprite sheet, and this is a 24 by 25 sprite sheet. Now you'll notice that I've got 5 different color-coded areas here. The one up here that is in blue is the walk animations that I use. The one in green is the running animations. The one in yellow is the idle animations, which you never actually see, so I can skip those, actually. And then down here, you've got another set of 12 in red. These are the death animations that I use on the 24 by 25 spreadsheet. But on the 24 by 24 spreadsheet over here, the same death animations are in the orange area. And the problem is, I was very pleased with myself for working this out, but then unfortunately, it doesn't work for all of the sprite sheets that are this size. It's the death animations that I use are on this sheet, but they're not here. They're in a different location on the sprite sheet. They're I don't know, where are they? They're somewhere. I went looking for them. I was sure I saw them. Actually, this guy doesn't seem to have them. He does, however, have 3 lying on the ground animations right in a row. Doesn't seem to have those animations, funnily enough. So this guy I couldn't use. And there's a bunch of other sprite sheets that just don't work. And there's a huge number of them. Like, it's an outrageous number of things to look at. Like, I come over here and I look at the town and country. Here we go, town folk. Or if I come down here to what would be a good okay, the high seas humans. Okay, if you look under pre-made characters, we've got 4 of those. Okay, that's not that bad. But you look under here, we've got 4 more males, and then we've got clothing. We've got 4 more females, and then we've got clothing. And the females are just like different skin tones mostly. You can see that we've got a white person and a brown person and a black person and a dead, undead sort of person. And then you go under clothing, and you've got 20 different sprite sheets that are just hair. And that's kind of obnoxious and annoying. So I got a lot of stuff like that, and in particular, if you come down to what was the other one that I was looking at? It was the medieval interiors humans. You look under female clothing here, there are 58 individual sprite sheets. You look under the males, the clothing, there are 65 individual sprite sheets, mostly because males also have facial hair. But that's really obnoxious and annoying, because just right there in this one folder, I've got 165 sprite sheets that need to be imported that I haven't imported yet. And they don't all have the right, if I grab this and drag it in, if I drag this in, you can see that it doesn't have the right animations there. It doesn't have the right animations either. So I've got to find those animations, and I don't think this one even has them. So that's obnoxious. I don't think there are any death animations. I don't see any. Oh, here we go. These are the death animations. And they span across a row. This is the thing we have for death animations. Okay, is we got the guy standing and being hit and falling over, and we've got that facing down, facing to the left, facing to the right, and facing up. And then we've got the diagonals after that. So I may just want to switch that and use the diagonals. Because the diagonals look better, I think. Or maybe I just like go to the one frame of it and stop there. But there is a kind of death animation in there to be used. It's just not the one I've been using. And it doesn't look like the one I've been using. And it's located in an entirely different part of the sprite sheet. It's up here. So the orange up here would be in this space. And, no, is that similarly in the, is that similarly in the same location, the same general location on this sheet? Is there a falling over animation? There does not appear to be. Well, kinda. It looks like there might be in here. Yeah, here we go. We've got a kind of falling back sort of animation, but it's not in the same place. It's not even remotely in the same place. And it's not a fall over animation either. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that, and it's just very frustrating because I would have to edit all of those animations and set the frames properly. So what I may do is create a sprite sheet of my own that has all of this stuff in it, and the way that I do that is I just take the 12 frames of the death animation and the 12 frames of the idle animation, and I would just shuffle them into place on the sheet. Although that ruins the sheet, and then I've got, you know. This is the kind of stuff that you have to worry about when you're working with existing animations. For all of the animations over here on the characters setup, okay? For all of these, like, it doesn't matter which one I choose because they all came in the same pack. All of their master sheets are perfectly compatible, and you can see right here, you know? Oh, you can see right here that we've got the staggering back animation for the death. And then we've got up here, we've got the idle animations, and we've got the running animations, and we've got the walking animations. And the guy always seems to start with walking and running. But finding the other animations is going to be a bit of a challenge. The thing is that what I want to do is I want to come down here, and I want to take some kind of base. And I gotta look around and find the right kind of complexion. I think the rogue is the correct. The rogue is not the right complexion. Never mind. She's got to be semi-tanned at least. Musketeer. How's that look? That's That's kind of rosy. That's okay, I guess. Mage is way too pale. The knight's wearing a helmet. So let's take the helmet off. I don't know. Knight's kind of rosy, but the footman has possibilities, has potential. That's not bad at all. Now, the footman might be the right choice. Let's have a look at the Beastmaster, too pale. The assassin. Take her mask off. Assassin's okay. Elven Archer's definitely too pale. And let's have a look at just the plain old Archer. Okay, again, too pale. So what we're looking at is probably the footman. You know what? I think the Witch Hunter might be the right selection. Master's way too. Archer's definitely too. For the footman, I think the Witch Hunter's too dark. The rogue's way too pale. The necromancer is wearing a mask. The necromancer definitely. And the musketeer. I think the musketeer, actually. So let's drop down the musketeer. Take the base right here, and we'll scroll out, and we'll go Control A, and just gonna copy that. Then we're going to create a new image, and this is 3840 by 4000. $38.40, 4,000. Okay. And I'll Control V, and there we have our initial base right there. Up, and we're going to use that layer 1 to paint over top of this. So we're going to come back over to our game's character, and we're going to go the animations layer. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it over the illustrations layer there, like that. So that's the individual areas that I want to do, and yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to layer 1. I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to make some little boundaries. I'm going to basically right there. That's where that ends. Right here, we're going to go the green vicinity, and we're going to go, that's where that begins. And that's where that is. And then we're going to do the same thing with yellow. That's where it begins. That's where it ends. I want to see how long this takes, because I think that painting over these sprites is going to be faster and easier than I expect. I'm not 100% sure, and I may be catastrophically wrong on. I don't actually need the location of the orange section, but I want to put it there for completeness. Okay, so now we back up from that, and now we have identified the areas that need to be painted over. And we can now turn off the animations overlay. So, yeah. I've got images of Ichigo. Let me drag this folder up here because there's some stuff in this. There is some stuff in this particular folder that you probably don't want to see. Okay, so we're going to drag this down over top of layer 2, and we're going to make it fit into an area where I'm not going to be working on animations. And that way, I'll be able to scroll out and look at it anytime I need to. There we go. That will handle the problem of having Ichigo kind of in the space where I can look at her, where I can scroll out and go, okay, here she is. So this is primarily a reference so I know what kind of clothes she is wearing. Now, if I scroll in on this character, because this is a small character, I don't have to worry too much about anything, but the major things that we need to worry about are we need to, let me come down to my layer 2 markers. That's the one with the markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of swatches here. And the first one I'm going to grab is I'm going to grab the we're going to jump over here to the brush, and we're going to try and grab just the pink. And I'm going to put that pink right in this space after blue. Then I'm going to grab the white and the black, gray, and then we got the brown of the boots. Got the brown of the boots right there, and we got a kind of shadow color there, shadow brown. And then we've got this orange for the shirt. And we got this kind of raspberry color. The hair ties. Okay, so we've got our swatches here. Oh, and I don't know that we're gonna have visible eyes, but in case we do, that's the color of the eyes. And maybe we want to try to go closer to this. Okay, now then. What I'm going to want to do now is scroll in. These images are just 160 pixels, so because they're only 160 pixels, we're not going to see a whole lot of detail on them. But okay, let's begin with the boots. Okay, so I'm gonna need a much smaller brush. Got down to 2, and we'll grab the main brown of the boots. Roll in on this, and yeah. Sure. We have a color mixing palette, don't we? Let's do we have a clear? Clear. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color mixing palette to grab colors. And raspberry. And I need that orange for the shirt. And I need the skin tone here. Eyes. I need the black for the skirt. And I need the brown for the boots. Kind of shadow brown. Okay. So now I've got all of my swatches over there. Means I can come over here and get it, right? Yes, okay. All right. So I've got all of my we've got over here, don't we have a yes, we have a sub view. So I can take that sub view and I drag a clip studio. I don't need to drag a clip studio. I can drag a PNG. I've got a PNG I can. So there we go. Now I can take that Ichigo layer, I can toss it away. Okay, so I've got a reference for Ichigo. And we're going to see if I can do a fairly decent job of portraying this character. On the appropriate layers. Actually, that's not where that belongs. That belongs on the rework layer. Okay, so we're going to rework here on this layer. We're going to do that. We're going to come down here and we're going to lock. No, we'll just okay. Okay, so on the rework layer, we're going to start with the hair color. We're going to do the kind of shaggy hair thing over top of her head. And now she should have sort of twin tail thing going on. Got raspberry bits there. How close is this skin tone? The one I'm looking at. 205, 207, 172. Let me come down here to Let me see if I can new correction. Level correction. I'm going to correct our red. First of all, what are we looking at here? 213, 197, 156. Okay, so we want the red go down by new correction level correction red, and we want the red to go down, but that's not the right layer. So new correction, hue, saturation, luminosity. That's what. Okay, so have a look at this. Click. We'll see what happens when I click on that. Okay, so it's mostly just very close to the top. It just moves down and a little into the orange area. Okay, so let's go. I want to try to alter this so it looks more or less like okay, so I want to take the hue up about like this. I want to take the saturation down a little. I want to take the luminosity down a little bit. I want to take the luminosity up a little bit. Luminosity comes up a little. Okay. So that looks much more like the skin tone I'm going for. Okay. We got the skin tone we need. Now I need to put the clothes on her. So we're going to start off with the okay, that's not going to work. Go. We go back to the rework layer and quick shirt on this girl. Yes, real quick. And what I'm after here is to find out how long this actually takes, how fast I can do it. It's looking good right now. But then we've got the skirt. she does wear a garter. That on that one leg. So we're gonna go boot on this leg. And this leg also has black stocking. Comes up to just over the knee. Has white garter. And okay, now how does that look? It's not great. It's not bad. So let's just continue this. And the idea here is that I want to get faster at it. So I'll race through this little area here. Orange shirt, brown boot. Boot. Black stock. Starter. And raspberry highlight, raspberry hair tie, black skirt. Skirt would drop. There. Now if I can... Yeah, it was pretty fast. Orange shirt underneath. Shirt underneath. Black skirt. Black skirt. This is not terribly difficult, but it is going to be time consuming. Got the garter, garter. Okay, that's more or less correct. Okay, and I'm going to start from the bottom on this one. Well, we're getting left leg to the forefront. Let's continue that. This is probably an incredibly boring video. It's very important when you're doing this with stock graphics that that you check the terms of use for your stock graphics, which I've already done repeatedly for Pioneer Valley Games stuff. So they'll do the hair, blob. Advertise there. On to the next. Okay. I only want to do the one running down because then I want to check it. I want to see how it looks. In the game. I'm having trouble eye dropping. Speed I'm trying to work. I'm investing zero time in shadows or anything like that because I don't care. Talking. Carter. I'm done with this. The implication is that I'm going to have to do this the equivalent of 11 times per character. Means I'm going to have to do like 1,100 of these. Okay, and oops. Because these are fairly small images, I don't think it's going to be all that necessary. The be detailed. We have two more here. Go to the bottom. Later. Ooh, this is going to be kind of obnoxious because I've got to walk slowly while I do this. Get in the game. That's okay. Here. And just grab these colors from the image that I'm working on and not have to go to the color palette. Because literally, this is where they are. Orange. Orange, damn it. Okay. Kinda small. Oop. Oop. Okay. That there. And that's that. Okay, so we have done the 8 frames of walking downward. And now what I need to do is I need to take this and I need to merge with layer below. So start with delete mask. We'll move on to delete mask. And now we'll merge with layer below. And that has automatically rasterized it. So if I now turn off the paper, turn off the markers, then I should be able to save this as Ichigo test as a PNG, and I can put this over in the game folder. Grouping the assets, graphics. Wait a minute. Under player, isn't it? Yes, it is. It should go test.png. Yep, we're going to save that as a PNG. And now we will come over here and we will import the asset. And we'll come down here to our player and we'll take Ichigo test. We will go right there. And we're going to look at the walk down. We're going to play that animation. That is not bad. And how long did that take? It took like an hour. Okay, so yeah, an hour for 8 frames. But that really doesn't look bad. If I turn that off, if I turn off the health box and the hit box. That really doesn't look bad at all. Okay, so if I come back over here, if I rebuild the .NET project, let's have a look at this. Let's see how it comes across. Let's run the project, and when it starts up, we will. Oh, it looks pretty good. I got to do the running animations, though. You spend most of your time looking at the running animations, so those are the ones I got to concentrate on. But that has actually come out looking pretty good. And let's look at how much actual time I spent in here. 36 minutes. It took me 36 minutes, so about 4 minutes each. That's what I figured, 3 to 5 minutes per. And I should get faster as I go. And that actually looks pretty good. And it isn't just wholesale copied and used graphics. So at that rate, at half an hour for one facing, that's an hour for 2 facings. There are 4 facings for the walk animation. Okay, so that's 2 hours, and then another 2 hours, so 4, and then there's 24 frames of so that's another hour and a half. So you figure about 6 hours. It's about what I was figuring earlier. So that's not a tremendous amount of work. And that'll give me brand new custom graphics, kinda. And actually, I can actually have my characters in the correct clothing. That'll be nice. I will like that. And that's actually gonna give it an art style. So yeah, I like that. I'm gonna go with that. I think it's going to. I think that's going to actually make a difference. I don't know when I'll have time to do all of this, but I will do some of it over the course of the week. Another thing that I really want to do is I really want to come in here and I want to do sound effects. I want to do the sound effects for all of the characters and all of the weapons and all of that sort of thing. So I'm going to put that together. Now the animations are not going to have a lot of code component. It's just a matter of replacing the graphic. I replace the graphic, everything just like happens automatically. That's a very nice thing that Gato does. You notice that I saved that file in the folder and Gato imported it automatically. And you saw me just kind of drag it in and start using it, and it just worked. I mean, it's the same thing if I go back and I drag the original Ichigo back in, then that also just works. If I come over there and throw that texture in there, then I can throw the old one in, and the old one's fine. So yeah, that's something I can definitely do. I'm going to turn my markers back on. I'm going to turn my paper back on, and I'm going to do save as. I'm going to save this in Clip Studio format, and we're going to take it back up to. We're going to take it back to my pictures, Clip Studio, Rope Reverse, Test. Sprite 2, actually. Okay, so we'll save that off, and that's going to be something that I can work on a little bit more over the course of the week. It's looked surprisingly good for how little time I put into it. So yeah, I'm gonna spend some more time on that. I'm gonna spend some more time working on that, and that's an hour. So hey, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and okay, bye.